It's here! Welcome in, Cubs. So, this is a follow up to our Tribe 9 demo review. Version 1.0 officially released on February 20th, roughly a month before the recording of this video. I'm going to touch on some differences that I noticed, as well as the game overall. I finally finished Chapter 2 this past weekend, so let's jump right into it. It's the year 20XX in Neo Tokyo. To resolve their conflicts, teens replaced violence with a dueling method similar to baseball called Extreme Baseball, or XB. The loser of an XB match must obey the winner. However, times have changed. XB has been abolished and the world is now ruled by XG, a deadly game with lethal consequences. In the 23 cities that have taken a turn for the worst, what awaits Yo Kuronaka, an amnesiac teen, and his friends? In Tribe 9, you follow Yo Kuronaka. We find him in a world where he is the hero and receives missions from the village goddess statue. He starts to question his role, and then weird things are happening. The world literally falls apart when he meets a few other characters claiming to be his childhood friends who have come to rescue him. Turns out Yo went missing 2 years ago and has been brainwashed by his kidnapper, resulting in amnesia. Further in the prologue, we meet Zero, who is the kidnapper in question, and declares to Yo that he wants him to participate in XG, putting his life on the line, or he and his comrades will be obliterated here and now. He'll have to defeat the numbers in their given city and be at the mercy of its governing rule. An example? The first city you find yourself in, the governing rule is essentially the city is run like a business. There's a director, and then the manager who answers to the director. Now, the manager is the person who stands at the top of the city's hierarchy, essentially, and everyone below that are just workers, and if you are deemed a bad worker, then you are executed at the end of the week. I won't say anything more because what I've already said takes place during the prologue, so if you want to know the rest of the story, you'll have to experience it yourself. As of the recording of this video, there are 2 chapters that are released, and it looks like we'll be getting new content every couple months. At least, that's my assumption. It's still really early in the game's release. Main quest scenes are fully voice acted with the Japanese cast, which raises the question if there will ever be a dub in the future. Now that we've described the story, let's get into the menus and game mechanics. Looking at our character menu, I'm already seeing some differences, and this is all following feedback from the demo itself. A lot of people were complaining that it was too complicated, and this game's selling point is the story. The developers wanted to make the gameplay as simple as possible to keep retention so that players would play through the entire story. Under basic info, you can see at a glance if a character is stronger in attacks or support and how easy they are to operate. The breakability is new. Before, during battle, anything favorable that would happen would bring up your tension gauge and initiate chain attacks. Now, the enemy needs to be staggered to cause break, causing a chain attack, which in turn will bring up your tension gauge. So this is a new feature that easily showcases a character's strong points and weak points. All characters will have primary attack, secondary attack, counterattacks, strategy skills, chain skills, and ultimate attacks. If you go through each skill, you can see further what they do. Any game-specific mechanics or statuses will be highlighted so that you can click on that term and see what it means. The last skill on the character menu is their XP skill. Under potential, we see the character can rank up. You can see what materials you need to rank up as well as how to obtain them, and for every rank that you get, you receive potential gems, and these can be allocated to Fighting Instinct, which increases your damage, Survival Instinct, that increases max HP, defense, and max stamina, Coordination, which increases your support points, and a couple of passive skills specific to the given character. Points can be reallocated at any time, which gives flexibility for builds. Next, the relic system. These are called compatible monsters, and they are hella cute. There are a number of different sets at release. The only thing I hope that comes in a future update that was in the demo is being able to filter substats and sets. Right now, you can't filter them, which makes it difficult for people like me to pick an optimal piece. As you can see, I have a lot of Patamons, and that is a lot of scrolling, a lot of comparing, so hopefully a filter is put back in place later on. Lastly, the Transcend page, which shows what you get if ever you pull any duplicates, whether it's a buff to certain skills or certain potential gems to allocate to the character's potential page. Looking at the tension cards, the core of it hasn't changed. You can equip up to 5 cards to the party rather than 1 piece of equipment to a given character. The cards signify when they are activated during the battle based on the tension gauge. 0 is right off the bat. 1, your tension gauge has to be 1. 2, tension gauge 2. EX, it needs to be maxed out. They did add a bit more effect details to the cards themselves. A lot of cards will have certain criteria, and a lot of special criteria will require synergy effects. Much like character status effects, game specific synergy effects will have the name highlighted so you can review what said effect does or means. The devs have also recently added a filter option to find cards with specific synergies. That's all for the combat relevant menus. Other features include the activity journal called Zero Sensei. I've cleared most of Shinagawa and just missing the daily commissions. Every task that you do either gives a stamp that goes towards your next level cap, or you get the game's pulling currency called Enigma Entity. Stamps are also important for game progression. As each city will get harder, you might hit roadblocks where the game will let you know your level cap will not survive the coming fights. Daily commissions are unchanged. You can pick which three you want based on the rewards that you want, and also in which city you'd like to do said commissions. Looking at the event calendar, it looks like there's synchronicity every time there's a new character that's on the rate up banner, with a number of other campaigns like fighting campaigns, XP campaigns, character trials, and the characters that are on the banners will get a buff during their rate up period. And there's also a rhythm game coming up. If not, it'll be up by the time this video is posted. Next, the Battle Pass is called Support Contract. There's a free version and a paid version. The paid version will obviously give more rewards, and there's a number of different skins that you can get as well. I have not paid for the Battle Pass yet, only because I have a personal policy with gacha games where if I've filled a Battle Pass 3 times in a row, then I'll invest in it, but we're not there yet. To level up your Battle Pass, there's daily activities such as completing your commissions, picking up 5 items in the overworld, not including chests, and logging into the game. When you get the 3, you can claim 2 boosters. Boosters are essentially replacing real time recharging energy used to go into dungeons and get materials. Instead of waiting X amount of time to have energy to do what you want to do, you have to use these boosters. You can get 2 from the Battle Pass daily, and mobs will actually drop these periodically, so if you're farming a bunch of materials, you might get some boosters in the process. In addition to the daily missions, there's also weekly and seasonal missions. The crafting bench is accessible anywhere. Before, we could only do it from the teleportation points or respite units. You can craft healing items, EXP boosting foods, combat wars, among other things. I do want to point out that leveling up a character is very organic. Higher level enemies will give more EXP, and you don't have to perform genocide to get enough to level up. However, there are level up materials available if you want to spend the in game currency, meaning Kane, not Enigma Entity, to level up a character faster. If you have friends that are playing, there is the option to do delivery requests. Here you can request certain items from people who are following you, which is nice if booster supply isn't necessarily meeting demand, or bosses aren't dropping as many mats as you need to level up your characters. In this situation, I'm asking for some biting saws. If anyone has any extra biting saws, they can send them my way. The map is very straightforward. You can see where the dungeons are, where the teleportation marks are. If there's an exclamation point, that means that there's a side quest. If there's a play icon, that is the continuation of an active side quest. During the main story, the progress point will be a yellow icon, and then there's these red monster icons. These are formidable foes. You actually need to get your Zero Sensei journal to a certain level for this feature to show up in that given city. These guys do move around, so until this feature is unlocked, it's a scary surprise when they show up on the section of the map you're exploring. Oh, there's a lot of dead bodies here. Oh no. 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 We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. Oh no, we're dead. Ah! In the top left corner, your Zero Sensei progress will be listed along with the city progress. Note Zero Sensei tokens will be given for the first time that you get an achievement, and then the city progress is the subsequent completion of the same achievements for up to a total of 3 times. Lastly, there's the boss icons. So here we have the shark, and I will not show y'all what is in Minato City just for avoiding spoilers. The exploration is 2.5D overworld with a number of puzzles. They did make the puzzles a little easier following feedback, and I find they're a little too easy, but I'm a puzzle buff, so take that with a grain of salt. Something they added a few days after launch was easy takedown of enemies that are a lower level than you, like 3 levels lower than you. When you attack them in the overworld, it'll completely skip the battle sequence, which streamlines the exploration. You will still get enemy drops, and party members will get EXP until the level gap is over 5. Okay, so let's go through combat. I'm going to do this while fighting the shark and kind of describe what's going on, and I guess it could also be a little walkthrough if you're having a hard time with the shark. I'm going to point out here that Steam did let me go seamlessly between controller and mouse and keyboard, which is great. I prefer to do combat with a controller, but for the overworld exploration and the XP matches, it was nice to go to mouse and keyboard for those segments. All right, let's fight a shark. All right, this part is unscripted and I expect it to be very chaotic as I try to explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So to start off, the bosses, they will get harder as you get more badges in your Zero Sensei journal. So the first time that you unlock the shark, it's going to be level 15. And as you get more badges, the game's going to be like, okay, well, you can probably take this on at a higher level. And obviously, the higher the level, the more rewards you're going to get. So I'm going to try and not get my butt kicked in one take for level 35. My party is going to be Kazuki, Yo, and Tsuruko. Yo also has a lot of break potential on top of Kazuki. He's a DPS. He's a sub DPS in the team that I have right now. I primarily control Kazuki. The one thing with him is that his heavy hits or his secondary attacks, as well as his shield generation, do rely on an energy called memory. So if he runs out, he can't use his secondary attacks and he can't use his deflect shield. So if I'm not careful with how I'm using them, he'll only be able to do light attacks. And that's when I would switch to Yo to hopefully break the enemy so that I can get more tension gauges and have Kazuki do an ultimate, which is the only way that he's going to get memory back within his stacks. And then Tsuruko, she is great damage dealer, and she also does AoE healing. Her healing is within one circumference, so best to have her with melee characters. Tension cards that I have 2 that are activated at tension 0. Ferocity is nice as a backup. If ever someone dies, it essentially gives you 1 revive for the character you are operating. The other I have is Kazuki's signature card, things to hold on to. This one, every time a shield is granted, which is essentially anytime I pop a shield intentionally, or he'll generate a shield every time you do a chain attack. And when you do grant your party members a shield, your crit rate goes up 9.09% for 30 seconds. That can add a significant amount of damage output to your team. Full party is another one that I have. Increases crit rate by 10.91% and increases defense points by 10.91% when granted unity. I have another card called Strike Zone that will grant my party unity at the start of battle. It'll also buff my secondary attack by 1.24%. So by having that unity, there will be a 2-time effectiveness. And then my EX card is going to be just some emergency recovery. Honestly, when I get EX, I just use both 2 bursts, Kazuki's and Yo's, and then I have no more tension. So it's just like it's emergency recovery in the event that my healer does die. Could I optimize this? Absolutely. Am I an expert in that? Absolutely not. Okay, so let's start the challenge. So the shark is the first big boss that you will encounter during the story. It's as intimidating as it looks. So off the bat, I'm gonna drop a shield and hopefully counteract, but I was a little late. It's fine. He does have 2 attacks where he lunges at you, a tail flick and a bite. When he swims away, he's gonna be doing his jet stream. And I'm trying to land any secondary hits that I can in hopes of breaking him. So that is an example of a break. You can tell that you're about to break your enemy's defenses when its HP bar is flashing. For this attack, it's going to lunge at wherever I'm standing. So I'm going to stand right by its bomb so that it explodes itself and goes down. You see how that HP bar is flashing? That means we're close to breaking its defenses. Every time you break an enemy, your tension gauge will go up. And now I'm at an EX, so at this point, I'm going to do all of my my 2 ultimates. Oh, I was a little late for that. It's fine. Okay, he's going in the middle, probably going to do a Cyclone. He's got 2 Cyclones attacks. One where he'll swim at you, and one where he'll dash at you. So he went underground, he's dashing. We're going to get a warning, and then you'll see his shadow, and I dash away. But keep away because he will splash. And I'm going to try and get some hits in here. Oh, nice deflect. Swimming away, he's going to do his jet. Oh gosh, I got hit by a whirlpool. It's fine. Very nice. We were able to parry that bite. Okay, we're going for a jet. Oh, no, you're not. You're going underground. That's fine. Oh, I dashed a little too early. Also fine. Going in the middle. What you doing? Cyclone. All right. So here he's dashing at us. I don't want to stand in the blue rings. So I'm just going to be going in to the outside and then back in the middle periodically. Try not to get hit by a whirlpool. He's underground when the music stops. There we go. Splash. Resurface. Oh, going back to the middle. Okay, you're splitting out some torpedoes. That's fine. Okay, let's try and break his defenses here. Oh, I am out of memory. Fantastic. Okay. For the most part, enemies will go towards the character that you're operating. For the most part. There we go. Get some memory back, just because I like to operate Kazuki. Beautifully done. So that's the combat in a nutshell. Anytime you defeat a formidable foe or a boss, you will get essentially this report card of who you used, what you used, and what your clear time was. And then you can choose to leave. What's nice is bosses don't cost any consumable currency to combat, so you don't need boosters to fight these guys. You can fight them as often as you want until you're tired of fighting them for the day. XB, or Extreme Baseball, was the old way to resolve conflict within a tribe. It has been abolished since and replaced with XG, but our team is slowly trying to reinstate XB through all of 24 City. During the story XB matches, you will be arguing with the opponent to swing the tides in your favor. You will also need to pay attention to where the ball is going and how your party members are responding to the choices you're about to make. It's worth noting your teammates are fixed for story matches. Verity orbs will help with arguments. These can be picked up around the city during the story campaign and are marked as yellow icons on the map. When you're going to use said Verity orbs, the game does reiterate the opponent's statement as a question that can help the player choose the right answer. Now, when they say extreme, they do mean extreme. You're literally playing a full-blown baseball game that spans the size of the entire city. It's very satisfying to watch, very fast-paced, very intense, so always a blast to watch the game play out. Right now, there are 2 endgames. There's a combat endgame called Fractal Vice that refreshes weekly. You go through floors upon floors of enemies leading to mini bosses and bosses. You can see how many people have entered the floor you're going into and what the success rate was. This gives you an idea of how difficult it is. Currently, I am having a hard time getting through the first major boss, but I still have a level cap that I need to unlock, meaning my characters are capped at level 40. The other endgame is XP matches among other players. Given as it's player versus player, there are no arguments. The opponent will be an NPC, but you do have to register your team so that you are in the team selection or player selection roster. You can choose the characters that you want in your roster and place them where you want to place them. Their levels, stats, skills, and strengths will mostly decide how well you're going to do. So it's worth leveling up characters outside your combat team of 3. Other factors include how you respond at bat or when pitching. I deliberately wanted to put the gotcha at the end because, well, the game is heavily story oriented and you can get through the game with the base characters. You don't need to spend any money, and honestly, since day one, the devs have made it a lot easier to be free to play. Before, the currency allocation was atrocious, but now you can see that I have a lot of Enigma entities and I am 100% free to play. The very first banner was Tsuruko Semba, a healer hybrid unit that released on day one, and then Kazuki Aoyama, a breaker sustaining unit, came out more recently. It looks like the banners are gonna overlap. I did get a copy of Tsuruko, Kazuki, and his tension card. I absolutely loved his character during the demo, and he is still my main. There's also the standard banner where a separate currency is available. You get them by completing quests. We do have an option to invite a 3-star of choice once we get to 300 summons cumulatively. Right now, I'm just at 70. Your standard characters are Geo, Miu, Q, and Enoki. One summon will cost 120 Enigma entities or 1200 for a 10 roll. So, overall, I'm really enjoying version 1.0. I've been logging in daily to work on my exploration and get my Zero Sensei rewards. I've been playing the story on stream, hence why I only really finished chapter 2 this past weekend. So this video would have been up a little sooner, but I wanted to unlock all of the content. That way I could touch all the things that are out right now. I've enjoyed the story so far and enjoying the combat. I mean, I personally liked the elemental piece in the demo, but I can see why it was complicated for some people and how limiting it was for which characters could work together. So, totally get it, but otherwise, the combat is fine. Some people have said that it's a little clunky, but the devs have been quick to respond to complaints. There's some aspects that I'm still trying to wrap my head around for the XP matches, but the things that they have added has made it a little easier for me to get my points and progress the story. I only failed the second chapter once, and that was before I realized the statement reiteration in the top left corner while using a Verity Orb. The devs have been great in responding to player feedback since launch. I'm hoping a filter system will be available for Patamons in the near future, and I can't wait to see where the story will take us. I hope that gave you a bit more insight on Tribe 9 and whether or not you want to try it. It is available for free on Steam and mobile. Oh, that reminds me, you can link your accounts between PC and mobile. It was a little weird to get it done, but I got it to work eventually. So yeah, on mobile, I've been doing the XP games, and then on PC, I've been doing the combat and exploration stuff. If you're new here, I do stream on Twitch most evenings in the winter and spring, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Eastern Standard Time, as well as Sunday during the day. I anticipate Tribe 9 being a Tuesday game. Tribe Tuesday just rolls off the tongue, you know? When there is no story to complete, we'll be doing dailies, events, and endgame. Whenever new story content comes out, we'll play on Fridays, so come hang out. If I don't see you over there, I hope to catch you in the next one. Have a lovely time zone, and we'll see you next time. Bye! 2 points, let's go! I don't belong in bronze. Hey, silver up! Silver rank up! I read silver and then I missed the first half of rank up. Rank up! We're silver now!